Hi, and welcome to today's show of Youth Iowa Bassin. What I want to cover on today is a technique that a lot of people have a lot of fun with, as do I. It's a technique that I've grown on, and it's become one of my strengths, and that is a topwater popper, or just popper style bait. What it is, it's basically, it's a hard bait that just has a bait fish profile and a cup mouth. Just a cup mouth, and when you work it, it obviously spits water out and it looks like a bait fish on top of the water. It is a top water. Why do I like a popper? Because, I'm going to talk about the specific one that I use, but the specific one that I use, I can work it really fast and cover a lot of water with it because of the certain noise it makes, and it's probably my go-to topwater bait. I've just caught so many fish on it, caught a lot of big fish on it.
Got him. Yeah, that's nice. I'm home for the day. Nice of his life jacket on, son.
Standby for me without a doubt is a topwater popper. Where do I like to fish these baits? I like to fish them anywhere, basically. I fish them around pockets of grass, outer edges of grass. I fish around rocks, of course. Shallow bars and early in the morning are great. Lay down trees are great. You can fish them anywhere where bass typically hold in shallow water. You can, of course, fish them for schooling fish. They work great like that. They work great for schooling fish, especially when you work them really, really fast and really hard. But there's just a lot of opportunities that you can do with the popper. And a lot of sizes too. Of course, you have your typical standard, 2.5, 3-inch popper style bait. That is it's mainly my go-to. And then there's poppers that are 2 inches, super micro size, but don't overestimate these. This color is actually supposed to be Chrome Sexy Shad, and if you can see how torn up that bait is from how many fish that little dude has caught, and this little bait especially has produced some really violent strikes. But where I differ from both of these, a smaller popper, what I have found is that they can stay in a strike zone, like fishing in pockets of grass, or if I know there's a fish around. You can fish these baits super, super slow, and slow, but stay in the same spot. Meaning that I can pop it, I can do a light twitch, it comes forward, and it comes back. Because when you pop a popper, it dives, and it comes back up. Depending how hard you pop your rod when you're working it, the harder you pop it, the farther it will go. So, if you do a little light twitch with a light popper, because it's so small and it doesn't move a lot of water, you can pop it and it'll stay in the same spot. Early in the spring, when fish are spawning, and they're spawning in the holes of the grass, that's a great technique to draw fish up and get this bait. But if I'm trying to call fish and cover water, or if they're just feeding on bait fish this size, of course I'll use the typical standard 2.5 to 3-inch size popper. My cadence in my retrieve, or cadence as some people call it, a lot of people, the old timers will tell you, or the older age fishermen will tell you, cast it out, pop it and let it sit for like 30 seconds, give another pop. You know how long that is and how boring that is? Granted, you're getting a topwater strike, but you're not doing yourself a lot of good with that. But now with poppers nowadays, and now that poppers have been designed around the tournament anglers and designed by pros, now they're made to where they can be fished efficiently when they're fished fast. And what I mean by that is that with old style poppers, they weren't made to chug. They were made to just plop, stay. But now with these, but if you look at the older style ones, they're more roundish. They're more fat. They're more round. And you know, those have a time and place, of course, but those aren't just good. Those I stay away from most of the time. But now with current or modern topwater popping style baits, they're just made to be fished fast, and of course I take advantage of that. And when I do, and of course I make my cast or roll cast or whatever, and I just start immediately. I just pop, pause. My best retrieve is 2 pops, short pause, keep going. Pop, pause, pop, pause, and that just seems to be my best retrieve for covering water. Of course, if fish aren't reacting to that and I still see them and they're in the top one, if I see surface activity, then you can know when to change your retrieve. But old standby retrieve, 2 pops, pause is my go-to retrieve. The brand. Now I said I talked about it. I would talk about it, and I will. But my topwater popper of choice is a Strike King KVD Splash. I mean, we all know Kevin Van Dam likes to fish super fast and cover a ton of water, and so he built or designed a popper, you know, to be made for that specific duty. And he did a phenomenal job on it. I mean, this thing has a ton of rattles in it. It can call fish from a long distance away. I've really come to like it. It spits a good amount of water. You know, you can pop it and let it stay, or you can chug it like I do. But that's my go-to. But yeah, I mean, this is this normal size, and then this is the junior size in his lineup. They come in a great array of colors. This is Gold Sexy Shad. It's probably my favorite. I like this one in muddy water when it's stained, because gold flashes off anything. It flashes really bright. If it's cloudy in the water stain, sexy old standby Sexy Shad or the bone color type bait works well. If this bait still had paint on it, it'd be good in sunny conditions and clear water because it flashes real nice. But with how many fish have torn up this bait, I can't really show you. I'll do an episode on topwater colors and everything like that. But those are just a couple of colors I stand by. One thing about gold and lakes around here in Iowa is that, of course, the main forage is bluegill. We do not, in this central region part of Iowa, there's not a whole lot of lakes that have shad in it. And you know, gold, and it's really hard to find a popper that works well, and it comes in bluegill colors. But what I have found is that a gold colored bait will mimic, you know, that orange, you know, neck / belly part of a bluegill really well, and they just react to it. I mean, when you're working it that fast across the top of the water, I mean, and they see that flash of gold, it can really mimic a bluegill really nice in front of them. My setup is pretty special when it comes to topwater. If you've seen my swim jigs video, you know about this rod. It's a 5'6" Berkeley cherry wood graphite rod. It's a 5'6" medium rod. Now, granted, medium, of course, medium to a lot of people is a perfect topwater rod. But this rod has a really fast tip, but then it gets a backbone. And the reason why you need a lot of tip in a rod, for a popper, is that these baits excel when you're fishing them around tight quarters. I mean, when you're fishing around underneath boat docks or around edges of grass, it's really key to make accurate casts with this and get a perfect presentation. And a shorter rod with a fast tip allows you to do that. And another reason why I like tip is, of course, it lets a fish take it a lot better, because we all have, especially if it's our first topwater bite of the year, we all have that itch to really set the hook immediately, and you will lose so many fish if you just set immediately. So that softer tip will help you out a lot. My real choice, standard bait caster, 7-to-1 gear ratio or 6-4-to-1 will do good, but I tend to like a high-speed reel. For many reasons why. Of course, you know, once I hook into them, I can control them a lot better. But if I'm fishing a laydown or something on the bank and I see fish schooling out behind me, I can quickly pick up line and make a bomb cast to them and really get to them. And when you're doing that pop, pop, pause, it really helps to have a fast reel to pick up the slack line, especially when you get a bite and get a good hook set. So a 7-to-1 or higher reel, or higher speed reel like an 8-to-1 or 9-to-1 reel will do the job greatly. But I'm not saying a 6-4-1 won't do the job, because it will. But 7-to-1 is my personal preference, and my line, 14-pound tests, or anywhere from 10 to 14-pound tests, monofilament line is my absolute go-to line. My specific line that I like to use is Bass Pro Shops Turning Tough monofilament. You can get like a 275-yard spool line for 10-pound test for $4. Now it sounds like really like it's a really bad line, but let me tell you this: I use that exact line to catch my 8.5 pounder on a crankbait. 8.5 pounder in Iowa on a crankbait. That line is super tough, it's super abrasion resistant, and it casts extremely nice. And it has that perfect amount of stretch to give you a great hook set with this. Monofilament, of course, because monofilament floats, and you need it with a floating topwater bait. Fluorocarbon will sink your bait. Braid, you can use braid. I just don't like it with treble hook baits, especially. Of course, you know, once they bite it, you got them. But I really do have a fear with bending out hooks, because even on my topwater baits with monofilament, some of my baits have super bent out hooks. And of course, I need to change them before the season comes around. But monofilament will do a great job. Braid will do the job, but I just have a fear of bending out hooks and everything like that. Monofilament does cast a lot more accurately too, so that's why I choose monofilament. But use these tips, use them on your body of water, get you a good set of topwaters that you're confident in, and you will have one of the best summers ever in fishing. I hope these tips help you. We'll get back to you soon.